Hola clase, vamos a repasar cómo conjugar reflexivos, especialmente en el tiempo presente. So we're going to learn how to conjugate reflexive verbs, specifically in the present tense. You should be on página 23 de tu libro de gramática. And it should look like this. I'm going to zoom in now, but wanted to make sure you knew what page you should be on. Bien? Bueno. Okay, so you just spent the last couple of slides understanding what reflexivos are, and that's what the first bit of notes is indeed about, is what makes it reflexivo. Okay, so reflexivo. In Spanish, there isn't really a word for myself, yourself, etc. Instead, there are reflexive verbs, which indicate that an action is being done to oneself. You can tell these verbs are reflexive by the say attached to them, to the end of the verb. And if you look at your vocab list on the right-hand side of the top right, you'll see all those verbs are reflexives. Afeitarse, acostarse, bañarse, ducharse, all those with the say. That say indicates it's reflexive, that it is something you do to oneself. Okay? So, you conjugate the verb normally. You actually don't have to learn any new endings. You don't have to learn that you drop this letter or do this. The thing that changes is the say. The say changes based on who the person doing the action is and goes in front of the conjugated verb. Okay? So, sort of like how we learn direct and indirect object pronouns, the say is a reflexive pronoun and it moves to the front and changes to match the person doing the action. So with the direct and indirect, we changed it based on the object. This time we're changing it based on the subject. So your endings are, for yo, you're going to use may. For tu, you're going to use te. Looking familiar so far? For LAN usted, you're going to use se. For nosotros, you're going to use nos. For vosotros, you're going to use os. And for ellos, ellas, ustedes, you're going to use se again. That's it. So let's conjugate lavarse in the present tense. So lavarse, lavar is to wash. But the se part means that we are washing oneself. That's what the se part means. So, to do yo, I need to change the se for the yo form, which will make it may. May. And now I just do lavar like I always would. I drop the AR and I'm left with lav. And I add O. L-A-V-O. Lavo. Me lavo. I wash myself. Te is what we're going to use for tu. Took that se, moved it to the front, changed it to te. Drop the AR. What would I add for tu? I'd add AS. Lavas. Te lavas. LA usted. The se moves to the front and doesn't have to change. Drop the AR. LAV. Left with and then we do a for lava versus el usted. Se lava, he or she washes themselves. Okay? Nos, took the se to the front, changed it to nos to match nosotros. Drop the AR, get lav, add amos. Lavamos. Nos lavamos, we wash ourselves. Os lavais. Took the se, moved it to the front, changed it to os. Lavar, drop the AR, and add ais, accented on the A. And the se moves to the front and stays the same for ellos ustedes. Drop the AR, add AN, se lavan. That's it. That's all you have to do. You are just adding one more step when you are conjugating reflexive verbs. You are taking the se, moving it to the front, and changing it to match the person. You are then conjugating the remaining verb, the lavar, the bañar, the duchar, the entrenar, etc., the way you always did. And that goes for stem changing verbs too. Something like dormir, you still stem change just like you always did. You still have duermo, duermes, duerme. You just also have this reflexive. So let's look at dormir for just a second here. If you have space, you can put it down at the bottom. In fact, I'll scroll down and I'll put it kind of in the bottom area of mine. Dormir se is to fall asleep. And they make this one reflexive more to differentiate than they do to indicate it's happening to oneself. Dormir, that's two E's. Dormir is an O to UE stem changer. Okay? So, in my chart, that say is still going to get moved to the front. I'm still going to have may out here. And I'm still going to use O like I always would for yo. But just like I did any other time, if I'm in the boot, which is all of my singulars and the AOS form, right? If I'm in my boot, the O changes to UE. So I have may, duermo. Te duermes. That is a terrible M. Let's try that again. Se duerme. These are all M's. They look like N's because I can't draw today. But here, I'm outside of the boot. No stem change. Nos dormimos. Os dormis. Accent on that I. Okay? Say, I'm back inside the boot, back to a stem change. Duermen. Oh, that M looked better than some of the other ones. So anything you did in the normal present tense conjugation of that verb, you're still doing. The only additional step is this may, te, say, nos, os, say pronoun. Okay? The one other thing we have to talk about, if you're using a reflexive verb as part of a verb phrase, this is that where you have more than one verb together. You're like doing tango K or acabar de or something of that nature. The reflexive pronoun can either go at the very beginning. Hopefully you can fit it better than I can. My line's too short for my handwriting. Or the very end And that would mean it attaches to an infinitive. You absolutely cannot split the verb phrase up in any way. So, for example, if I want to say, I have to shower, I can either take that may. So, I have to is tango K, right? To shower is duchar se. I can either, now I'm going to have to change it to may because it's about me. I can either move it all the way to the front here. May tango K duchar. That's fine. Or I can do tango K duchar may and just change it from say to may. But what I can't do is stick may in front of duchar. I can't do it like in the middle of the thing. It's either got to go all the way out in front or change on the end here. Alrighty? Si tienes preguntas, pregúntame. Otherwise, buena suerte. Adios.